an evil being that seeks to destroy the world of Minecraft, emerging from the deepest shadows. He watches the players, monitoring their every movement. His brilliant white eyes can see the smallest details from the farthest places, never missing a thing. Herobrine is said to be the master of ruin, an entity who brings chaos wherever he goes. Fearless and relentless, he manipulates the very fabric of the Minecraft world, creating traps and leaving eerie signs of his presence. Beware, for Herobrine is always watching, waiting to bring destruction to the world of endless possibilities. But everything has a beginning. Even the Dark Lord Herobrine was not always evil. In a time long past, he was known simply as Brine, a young and ambitious child, with dreams as vast as the Minecraft realms themselves. Thousands of years ago, in the Cubic realm, there was a magnificent kingdom called Valoria. It was the center of a great network of kingdoms known as the Great Alliance. Valoria's capital city, also named Valoria, was famous for the beautiful castle at its heart. The king's home was a wonder of the world, with towering spires, elegant archways, and elaborate mosaics. It was the crown jewel of the kingdom, and people traveled from all over the world to marvel at its splendor. In the resplendent kingdom of Valoria, there lived a young and ambitious boy named Brine. From an early age, Brine had a love of learning and discovery. He would spend hours exploring the vast library of the city's university, devouring every book he could get his hands on. As he grew older, his thirst for knowledge only increased, and he began to study the Valoria's old magic. He learned how to make potions, craft enchantments, and even weave spells. With his growing power, Brine quickly rose to prominence within the kingdom, becoming a trusted advisor to the king. His help was invaluable in keeping the kingdom prosperous and peaceful. Brine sought to transform the kingdom into a better place. He dedicated himself to assisting the residents with their daily tasks and solving their everyday problems. Through his unwavering commitment, he became a pillar of support for the community, always ready with a helping hand and a kind heart. Over time, Brine became one of the most famous and beloved figures in the kingdom, but every successful person has a bitter enemy. Michael, one of Brine's friends, was a spiteful person who sought to get rid of Brine because of his excessive jealousy of him. Michael tried to poison the king's mind and incite him against Brine, so he told him that Brine was seeking to win the love of the people in order to seize control of the kingdom and take your place in power. The king, however, was a wise man, and he did not believe Michael's lies, but he was concerned about Brine's influence and power. Then one day when the king went to his bed, he dreamed that Brine seized the throne and became the king. So he ordered the soldiers to arrest Brine and get rid of him permanently. Due to his magical abilities, Brine was able to escape from the king's soldiers and went to live alone in the forest. For a long time, Brine would secretly visit his family from time to time, slipping away under the cover of night to avoid detection. But Michael noticed his appearance in the kingdom and he informed the king. So he ordered the guards to get rid of his parents. When night fell, Brine went to his family and found the house burning. He rushed inside and found his parents dead. Fueled by a seething rage, he lunged at the king, thirsting for revenge. However, his fury was no match for the king's guards, who swiftly overpowered him and cast him into a dark, cold cell, and they clamped shackles onto his hands, preventing him from using his magical abilities and leaving him powerless. Days turned into weeks, and the time has come for Brine to be put on trial for his actions. When the residents saw Brine with his hands folded, they were very surprised. People started screaming and causing chaos because of their intense love for Brine. Brine took advantage of the situation and used his magical ability to run away. He returned to the forest, and he completely lost his humanity. His only concern was revenge on the kind and Michael. Brine spent most of his time trying to develop himself and his magical abilities. Sometimes he secretly go to the library in order to steal magic books. One day, while he was searching for a book, he found a hidden corner in the corners of the library. Inside, he found a book about ancient black magic, so he took it and went to the forest and started reading it. And in one of the pages, he found a map of a strange place. With the ancient black magic book in his possession, Brine delved deeper into its forbidden pages. The map he discovered detailed a place known as the Abyssal Temple, an ancient and forgotten sanctuary said to hold immense dark power. Fueled by his desire for vengeance, Brine set out to find the temple, determined to harness its secrets. The journey was treacherous, but Brine's knowledge and resilience guided him through dense forests, across perilous mountains, and into the heart of desolate deserts. He braved countless dangers, facing hostile creatures and surviving harsh conditions. Each obstacle only strengthened his resolve, and after what felt like an eternity, he finally stood before the Abyssal Temple. The temple was a colossal structure, buried deep within the earth and emanating an eerie, otherworldly glow. As Brine entered, he felt a malevolent presence envelop him, but he pressed on, drawn by the promise of ultimate power. The air grew thick with dark energy as he descended into the depths of the temple until he reached its core, a vast chamber filled with ancient relics and powerful artifacts. In the center of the chamber stood a grand obsidian altar, upon which lay an ancient tome pulsating with dark magic. Brine approached it cautiously, feeling the immense energy radiating from it. As he opened the book, the dark magic surged through him, amplifying his abilities beyond imagination. The transformation was excruciating, but Brine embraced the pain, knowing it was the key to his revenge. When he finally emerged from the temple, he was no longer the same person. His once bright eyes were now a piercing, malevolent white, and his soul was consumed by darkness. He had become Herobrine, a being of unparalleled power and evil intent. With his newfound abilities, Herobrine returned to Valoria, determined to exact his revenge on the king and Michael. Herobrine's arrival was heralded by a series of ominous events. Crops withered, animals fled, and the sky darkened with storm clouds. Fear gripped the kingdom as rumors of a malevolent force spread like wildfire. The people spoke in hushed tones of a figure with glowing white eyes, a harbinger of doom who brought chaos and destruction wherever he went. The king, now old and frail, was haunted by nightmares of Herobrine's return. He could feel the darkness closing in, but he was powerless to stop it. Michael, on the other hand, had grown arrogant and complacent, believing that he had vanquished his rival for good. He dismissed the warnings, confident that his position was secure. But Herobrine's vengeance was swift and merciless. He unleashed a series of devastating attacks on the kingdom, using his dark magic to create traps and manipulate the very fabric of the Minecraft world. Buildings crumbled, and people vanished without a trace, leaving behind only eerie signs of Herobrine's presence. The once prosperous kingdom of Valoria descended into chaos, its people living in constant fear of the unseen menace. Herobrine's final act of vengeance was reserved for the king and Michael. He confronted them in the Grand Castle, the very heart of the kingdom that had betrayed him. The king, weakened and guilt-ridden, begged for forgiveness, but Herobrine's heart was cold and unyielding. With a wave of his hand, he summoned a torrent of dark energy that engulfed the king, ending his life in an instant. Michael, realizing the gravity of his folly, attempted to flee, but Herobrine was relentless. He pursued Michael through the castle. Michael's cries for mercy fell on deaf ears, and Herobrine's vengeance was finally complete as he watched his former friend perish in agony. With the king and Michael gone, Herobrine stood atop the ruins of Valoria, his white eyes glowing with malevolent satisfaction. The kingdom lay in ruins, a testament to the destructive power of his wrath. Yet, even as he reveled in his vengeance, a part of him yearned for the days when he was simply Brine, a young boy with dreams of a better world. But those days were gone, and Herobrine was now a creature of darkness, forever bound to the shadows. He continued to roam the Minecraft world, an eternal specter of ruin and chaos, always watching, always waiting to bring destruction to the world of endless possibilities.